Sup y'all, it's me, it's your boy Sean, and in this video you'll learn how to make an infinite Zone Wars spawn system. Better than the ones in Endless Zone Wars and Forever 21. Forever 21. Forever Zone Wars. All for the low price of $399.99. Not $50 or $100. $399.99. Thank your boy Makan for the suggestion. If you want to suggest scripts, join the Discord. As always, you can get the free code at bit.ly/shaanprime. The more advanced version can be found on my Patreon. Tommy, do the thing.
Sure thing. Guys, today's sponsor is us. If you enjoy the videos and want to support in any way, consider subscribing to the Patreon. Thanks to all the existing patrons, and thank you for watching.
Hey guys, here's the code. You have your game manager. Inside the game manager, you have a few editable references to one, the beacon, which is an array of an advanced storm beacon device. And then you have the controller, which is an advanced storm controller device. Then you have the mover, which is a creative prop. This is what moves the player spawners and the skydive volume. And then you have an editable for the resize time, so how fast you want the zone to be moving. Then we have a variable called phase counter, which just increments and gets reset based off of the storm phase. On begin, we subscribe to the controller phase ended event, and then we call the function move storm. And then on begin, we have the function start storm. In the move storm function, we're checking to see if the phase counter is equal to the beacons.length -1. If it is, we reset the phase, destroy the storm, and start a new storm. We also return so we don't run through the rest of the function. If this check fails, we increment the phase, and then we get the beacons from the beacons array. We get the next beacon, and then we get the previous beacon. We get the transform for the previous beacon and the transform for the current beacon, and then we get the Y value, so transform.translation.y, and then we teleport the mover to the previous transform, and then we animate to the new transform, the current transform. And here you want to multiply by 2 because if you just put Y, it'll only go halfway. On the animate function, we're using the animation controller. So you want to create a movement keyframe, which is of type keyframe delta, and then the delta location, we're passing in 0 for X, 0 for Z, and then we're taking in Y, which is an optional float parameter. And then we pass that into the delta location, and then the rest can just be zeros and ones. So delta rotation is 0 for all values, and delta scale is 1 for all values. The time here is the resize time. This is the time it takes the storm to move. I'll show you in the device settings. And then for interpolation, we're using linear. And then here's where we play the animation. We get the mover controller, which is the creative prop, the mover. We get the animation controller from it. And then we set the keyframe to the one that we created, movement keyframe 1. We set the animation, and the mode is one shot. And then we play the animation. In the start storm function, we're sleeping for 0 seconds and then generating the storm. In your game, if the storm starts immediately, you can use the same thing, but if it starts after 30 seconds or 5 seconds, you'll just change the sleep amount here to 5 seconds. Here, we're getting the first beacon, which is the next point. We're getting the transform of the controller, the advanced beacon storm controller, and then we're getting the transform of the beacon as well. And then we just teleport the mover to the beacon controller, and then we animate to the next storm phase, or the next storm beacon. And then you just have functions to increment the phase counter and reset the phase counter. And that is it. And you can get all this code for free in the description below, or go to link bit.ly/shaanprime. All right, inside UEFN, we have the game manager. And the settings on the game manager is just connecting the devices. We have the 2 beacons inside the array, beacon 1 and beacon 2. Then we have the storm controller, the mover, and the resize time. The resize time should be the same time that you have in your storm beacon controllers. So you see here, this is 25. For the storm radius, you can set it to whatever you want based off of your map, but just follow these settings for all the devices. So in general, we have 4 storm beacons. We have the advanced storm controller with these settings. The radius, let me change this. The radius is 40 for phase 1. We are using custom phases, and the bounds radius is 40. For the first beacon controller, we have the same thing. This one goes directly on the advanced storm controller, and we have storm radius 40, resize time. Make sure the resize time for all the beacons are the same. The damage level, set this to whatever you want. I just have instant elimination for this demo. And then wait time, move distance, and max distance all set to 0. For the second beacon, place this wherever you want and just have the same settings. Just change it to phase 2, storm radius 40, resize time the same, and whatever settings you want. And then the third beacon, this one is placed on the first and the advanced storm controller. They're in the same location, but this one is set to phase 3, storm radius 40, resize time 25, and again, damage level or whatever you want. For the mover, I created a blueprint class and called it mover. You can use any object. So go into your content drawer, right click in the content drawer, click on create blueprint class, and then building prop BP mover 2, and then double click on the mover. Once it loads, click on only static mesh component and then select static mesh sphere, so it's just different. And then compile and save. And then you drag the sphere in to your map. So we place the sphere in the map and make sure the coordinates are 0 and 0, X and Y. And then the objects that you want to move. So you want to move a player spawner and a sky volume or whatever. Search for those devices, sky volume, and a player spawner. And then what you want to do is on the mover, the player spawner, you want to right click the reference or the actor and attach to the mover. So what do we call it? Mover 2. Make sure you attach it to the mover, and then the skydive volume, do the same thing. And any object that you want to move as the zone is moving, you would attach it to the mover. So attach to mover 2. And another thing is you want to make sure the position is where you want it while the mover is on 0, 0. So for your player spawner, you can just move it here. So if I want the player spawner to be on the side of the mover, it'll stay here in reference to the mover. So as this moves, the objects along with it move as well. And then you want to position your skydive volume in the place where you want it relative to the mover. And that's pretty much it. Because we are teleporting the mover, this can be anywhere, but if you want, you can copy the position of your advanced storm controller, at least the starting point, copy and then paste it on the mover, and it should go to that location. And there you have it. And that, my friends, is how you make an infinite zone war system inside UEFN and Verse. Let me launch the game and I'll show you how that looks. Looks like there's a bug right now where there's just a zone, but your devices should be moving along with the zone. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. and I'll see you on the next one.
A huge shout out to all the patrons. Thank you for the love and support. Stay blessed.